Hey there, I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate.
And today we're looking at the game Ganesha.
Ganesha is an abstract strategy game in which you take stones from one board to put on your player board and then move them to another board. But you gotta be smart about how you do it. Let's go ahead and take a look at it on the table. Alright, so I have Ganesha on the table here. Let you take a look at it real quick. Ganesha is an abstract game in which you are going to be pulling gems from this board over here, putting them on your tile in front of you, your player board, and then moving them from your player board onto the mandala for scoring points. And whoever has the most points at the end of the game is going to be the winner. Now, real quick, I do want to talk about the components here. This game has some fantastic components. As you can see, there are animeeples as your scoring pieces. You have the red ox or buffalo bison, something of the sorts, a bull perhaps, the orange tiger, the green monkey, and the blue elephant. It kind of sounds like Legends of the Hidden Temple there for those of you who remember that show. Anyhow, how this game works, you have 3 phases on your turn, and the first phase is that you are going to be pulling gems from this tile over here. Now, the number of gems you place on this board is dependent upon the number of players in the game. For 2 players, you only place them on the white. 3 players, you're going to place them in additional spaces. 4 players, you're going to place them all on every space on this board. Now, when you go to take a gem from this board, you have one of 2 options. Your first turn, you're always going to just take 1 gem. And so you might take that from this space right here. In the second phase of a turn, you're going to place the gems that you take from this main board and put them on your player board. Now, you have 2 options. You can either place them in one of these squares up on the top, or you can place them in your treasury, which is the bigger square down below. Now, the difference between those 2 options are that whatever you place up here on the top is going to allow you to draw more than 1 gem during the first phase. So we're going to come back to the first phase saying that we placed our gem right here. Whenever you have a gem in either one of these boxes, what you're doing is wherever you take your first gem, if you have a gem in one of these 2 boxes that is adjacent, the same color, adjacent to the gem that you already took, then you can take that gem as well. So you can take 2 gems. So for instance, if I were to take this red gem right here, yellow is in my box right here. Yellow happens to be adjacent to the red that I just took, so I can take this yellow now as well. I can take 2 gems. And you can have 2 gems in these boxes up here, 1 in each. And if they are different colors, then you could take either one of those colors if they're adjacent from whichever gem you took from up here. If they happen to be both the same colors, then you can take one of those gems, and it doesn't have to be adjacent. So for instance, I could take this blue gem right here, and I could take this yellow one right here, even though it's not adjacent. Now, going back to the second phase, if I put gems down here, that's going to allow me to eventually move them from this box to the mandala. So let's talk about that. That is phase 3 on your turn. And let's say that I have the gems like this in my treasury. Now, I want to place this red gem, and whatever gem I take, I have to place them on the same color spaces. And you start right here on the ones that have like the little flower petals around them. You can see that these do not, and so I have to start in this area. And if I'm going to place red, I would place it right here, and that would give me 3 points as it says right there on the board. But in order to do that, I have to sacrifice a gem. Now, I have a couple of options. Yellow can always be sacrificed to place all of one color that I have. So for instance, I could place this one red here for 3 points. Or let's say that I had both of these blues here, and I could sacrifice the yellow, and I could place both of these blues, and I would gain 3 points and 7 points. So that would be a very profitable turn for me to do right there, 10 points. Now, if I don't have a yellow, or I don't want to sacrifice a yellow, then I have to sacrifice one of the colors that I'm placing. So if I'm placing blue, I have to sacrifice a blue, and I can place this one blue out here on the mandala. If I only have one of a color, so like say I only have one red, then I can't place it. I cannot sacrifice the red because then I have nothing to place out there.
Now there is one other option to placing gems, and let's say that I had, let's just say it's something like this. I can sacrifice 0 gems to place all of my yellows out on the board, and the reason you can do that is because yellows do not give you very many points. As you can see, 2s and 1s on this board. And real quick, while we're on this, the different mandala boards you play with is dependent on the number of players in the game. You get 3 different boards here, 1 for 2 players, 1 for 3 players, 1 for 4 players. Now that's pretty much the game. This little marker here indicates how many turns the first player has gone. The first player will start with this, and it'll start with the 1 in front of them, and after everyone is gone, then you will turn this to the 2. The first player will also get 1 victory point when this turns, and then everyone will go around the table again, taking turns. We'll turn it again. First player gets another victory point. Everyone goes again, and then on the 3rd turn, the first player will get another victory point, but this will pass to the next player in turn order. And the process repeats. And you play a number of rounds, depending on the number of players. 2-player game, you're going to play 12 rounds. I think in a 3- and 4-player game, you play 9. And you're just trying to fill up all these spaces, trying to get as many points as you can. At the end of the game, if you have any left over, then starting with whoever's in last place on the point track, they will get to play one of these at a time until there are no spaces left on the board or until no one has any gems left over in their treasuries. There are a few other rules. You can move gems that are up here in your destiny boxes. I think that's what these are called. You can move them out when you take a new gem off of the board. You can put it right here and move that one back into your treasury. That's really the only way you can move those out. But you can never spin ones that are up here in these destiny boxes, only the ones that are in the treasuries. Now there are these little spice tokens that are going to be placed out here on the board. They are all face down, and you put them out here in just random spots. They just cannot be adjacent to one another. And whenever you take the gem that's on top of that, you do get to take the token, and you get to use it immediately if you want to. And these do all sorts of different things to help you throughout the course of the game. That's pretty much it. That's how you play Ganesha. Let's go back up top.
Okay, so here's Sam and I doing a 2-player playthrough of Ganesha. Right now we're going to share our thoughts on this game. And I'll go first, and this is just a simple, abstract gem placing game in which, you're going to want to be aware of the order in which you're taking gems and the gems that are on other players' boards to kind of give you a clue as to where they might be taking and trying to get points on the mandala. There are good things here to like about this. It's a simple game. It's not one that's going to fry your brain. It's relaxing in a sense because it does give you some good choices throughout the course, but as I already said, it's not going to fry your brain, and so there's kind of a calming, relaxing effect playing this, and the board is beautiful too, so it's a pretty game to look at. There's some nice things here to like about it. Sam, what did you think about this game?
The look of it is definitely very Azul-ish, which is one of my favorite games, and so that's appealing to me. It was a very simple game. It was very, it's competitive, but not in a push and shove and, kind of way. I did get frustrated that I lost at the end, but it was still an enjoyable, calm game, if that makes sense.
Definitely so. And with the theme of this game, I think that sort of goes with that. I think that's maybe what the designer was going for, a calming, relaxing experience, which can be a nice toss-up when you're playing board games, especially the fact that this is our game anyhow was 15 minutes. The box says 20 to 40 minutes. I would assume 40 minutes is going to be kind of with your higher player count, four-player count. But that's the perfect time length for a nice calming game.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, just, some knocks against this. This is not a perfect game by any means. There are some things that I didn't quite enjoy. Those spice tokens, I thought that was kind of I don't know. It didn't really work for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well.
The choice to take the gem that's there on top of the spice token, if you're the first player, it's an obvious choice. Take it because you get the token. And even if you don't use the token,
you can kind of take it to make sure that other players don't get it. That to me that's an easy choice.
Yeah.
And if you're the second player or in third player in 3-player game, fourth player in the 4th-player game, again, just take the token or the gem that's on top of the token. That to me seems like you should do that every turn.
Yep.
So I don't really get that. That didn't really work for me, and I take it, Sam, it didn't really work for you either.
It really didn't. I feel like if they were different, I don't know. They could have been different.
If it was more challenging to get to the token somehow,
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what that would look like off the top of my head, but it just felt a little too easy to get those spice tokens.
Yeah, I agree.
So, other than that, the end game scoring is a bit odd for me too, because in this game, whatever tokens you have left over, you just get to place out there one by one, taking turns, and you're going to just take the one that gives you the most points. Again, an easy concept. I would have rather preferred it to just end.
Yeah.
Because it forces you to have to make more difficult decisions through the course of the game. And if you don't want to make that choice, to know you can just kind of hoard your gems and wait till the end and then play them all at the end. I get that there's the possibility that all the spaces get taken up, but not likely. There's going to be some spaces left for you. I don't know. I didn't care for that too much.
Yeah, I don't know though. As that was happening, I was thinking, okay, so maybe if we played again and I had more gems on my board, maybe this would help me. So I was kind of thinking that through, and it would be interesting to play again, knowing that that's how it ended, because we didn't really know that until we were doing it, or I wasn't aware of it. So I don't know. I agree that it wasn't a game changer at all, but I don't know. Maybe if we played again, it would be a little different.
Yeah, I think that's a possible strategy to go into the game with. I just don't know if I like that strategy, quite honestly. It would kind of just feel like that's the easy way out. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Yeah.
Sam, any other things on this game that you didn't care for too much?
No, I mean, overall, I thought it was a nice little game. Quick, easy to understand, not super competitive. I liked it. I think it's a good starter for a game night for sure. I think it'd be easy for non-gamers to pick up pretty quickly.
Okay. So we'll ask that question here. Sam, would this be a game that you would recommend playing with non-gamers?
Yeah, I think so. I think it would be a good one to start with.
Okay. Now let's get into our ratings on this game. I'll go first. Scale of 1 to 10, love to hate. I think I'm probably going to give this game maybe like a 6.3. I don't know that it's one that I'm going to just be running to the shelf to pull off of most game nights. As I've already said, I think this is kind of a calming, relaxing game. Like you said, Sam, maybe one to start the night off with. I think this would definitely be the type of game that I would play with, say, my parents or grandparents.
I was just saying that because my parents are coming to visit. I was like, maybe they could play this with us.
Right. And that's not necessarily an ageist comment as much as it is that...
or the type of things our parents would like.
Right. This is kind of a slow going, like we've been saying, relaxing type of game. Doesn't create too much stress. And so I think that would be one that maybe they would enjoy. And so that's kind of where I'm at on it. Sam, what would you give this game?
I'd say probably a 6.7.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit higher than you. I mean, it is Azul-esque to me. I like those type of games.
You do?
I like
Yeah.
the placement games like this. So I'd like to play it again, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it is abstract, and you're kind of that's kind of your niche if there is one.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's some good things to like about it, like we've said. So, all right. Well, there you go.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of our new content.
All righty. I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll see you next time.